Hello and welcome. This is Jennifer McGuire. I'm going to start out by apologizing if you hear any funny noises in the background. That's because I'm on vacation in the Caribbean with my family and my kids are taking a nap, so I thought I'd do a quick voiceover to share this with you. So in the past, I've done many organization videos, especially those that show how I store my stamps. Well, one of the questions I get asked the most is how I store my 6x6 background stamps because they're bigger than most. So I didn't really have a solution before, and then I finally came up with one a few months ago, and I'm ready to share it with you. This is how I keep all of my background stamps. So these are all cling rubber background stamps, and they either are 6x6 or the smaller size, which is like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But I like having all my background stamps together instead of having my smaller background stamps mixed in with my regular stamps. Having them together has really helped me and made me use them more because they're easier to look through. Okay, so if you haven't checked out my stamp storage videos that I've done in the past for other types of stamps, be sure to click here in the YouTube description below because seeing that first might be helpful in figuring this out too. So here is my system for background stamps. I have some large pockets with white cardstock inserts, then I have the stamp in there and I label the front. I have them in a container that's about 8 inches wide, and I have some plastic folder dividers that I created so that I could divide them up between stripes, polka dots, geometrics, floral, whatever categories work best for you. Now let's take a look at these pockets. These pockets are bigger than the ones that I use for my stencils, slightly bigger, but they fit the 6x6 background stamps a little loose. I think it's better if the pockets are a little bit big for these stamps because it makes it easier to slide them in. Now you could stamp the background on the paper and put the stamp behind it, but I just keep the stamp in the front so that when I'm flipping through I can see the stamp itself. And then I do put a label with my Brother label maker in the top corner so I know what that stamp is because most of these are not labeled. Here is a look at the pocket that I use, and I get them from Simon Says Stamp. Now it is an open pocket with a flap on the top that you can peel off and seal closed, but I cut that off. So there's actually no top on this. You just slide your stamp in, but they don't really fall out, so you don't have to worry about it. I also cut a white insert to go in these pockets. Now these clear pockets are about 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 roughly, but I do cut a white insert to be about 6 5/8 by 6 5/8. But I encourage you to try whatever size insert you like. Some people like an insert that fits very tightly and some like it to be loose, so it's really up to you. But basically you're looking at a package that's just under 7 inches wide, so you want to come up with a storage container that is about 8 inches wide or 7 1/2 inches wide. And I'll talk more about the containers in a moment. Now for the dividers, I get inexpensive plastic folders. Usually get them on clearance after back to school specials or whatever from office stores, but these I got on Amazon because I like the color. And I cut the plastic folders down and round the corners. So for these dividers, I cut them about 6 3/4 wide, which is just a little bit wider than those stamp pockets. And I cut them about 7 1/2 inches tall, so they stick out above the stamp pockets. And at the top, I use some clear label tape and put whatever category of stamps that is. And then I use my corner rounder, my corner chomper, to chomp the corners and make them nice and smooth. Now you could laminate a piece of cardstock for these dividers or use some recycled chipboard, whatever works best for you. You just want something sturdy that will just serve as a good divider between your different categories of background stamps. Now, as I mentioned, I have my 6x6 background stamps and my smaller background stamps all here so that whenever I need a background, I can easily find one. And I'm finding that I'm using my background stamps a lot more and not always reaching for the same one now that I have them organized. Again, I just did some obvious categories like stripes, dots, florals, other, etc. But you can choose whatever category system would work for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the containers that you can use. Any kind of container that is about 7 1/2 inches or 8 inches wide would work. I'm using fridge bins containers because that's what I use for all of my stamp storage. I really like these containers. They're strong and they're durable. I talked about them in many videos in the past. Now I have these containers with this lip in the front, and they're 8 inches wide. Now that's the older model, it seems, of the fridge bins containers. I'll link to these, but I like the newer model and I've ordered them. And the newer model doesn't have that lip on the front, which I think is probably a better option, but they're the same size. These really hold up well and they're really easy to kind of flip through the stamps and find what you need quickly. So I'll link to a few different options in my YouTube description below and over my blog, and maybe one would work for you, or you may have something on hand already that would work. So there you have what I found to be the best way to store my background stamps. They're really easy to get to. They keep everything nice and clean and looking tidy, and it really has helped me to use my background stamps more. Again, everything is linked below in my YouTube description, or you can go over to my blog where I'll have more information, including a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.